Well, hello and welcome to another edition of the Stogie Review video review, the Short Ashes edition. I am Walt White, here once again to do one of these brief, very condensed cigar reviews as opposed to the traditional review which I do that lasts between like 26 and 30 minutes. The reason why I'm doing one of these Short Ashes reviews on a day that I typically do the long review is that I'm not completely prepared to do a full-blown review. As you can tell by looking at the video, I've got a different setup going. I'm still struggling with the lighting. I'm not quite sure what I like, what I need to do to make everything work out the way I want to. And I've been getting some things in random order. I don't have any tapes for this camcorder. I'm hoping that everything streams and saves to the PC just fine, or actually to the Mac just fine. And I don't have to go back and redo anything. I really like to do everything on tape, but in this situation I have no tape, and I'm completely out of mini DVs for my other camcorder, and it really didn't make sense to go out and buy some just to do one review when I had the new camcorder to do the review with. So without any further ado, I am doing the Don Pepin Garcia Black Label, which is the Cuban Classic. This is a Bellicoso, I believe. And I'm not quite sure the number designation that goes along with it. It's been quite a while since I did the review on this cigar, but it's one of the ones that I smoked very frequently for quite some time, and then they just sort of faded away, and I haven't touched them since. I bought a box, and I was buying singles from my local shop. My local shop stopped bringing them in because they were slow to sell, and then as soon as my box ran out, I just never picked any more up. So that's why I'm not smoking them nearly as much as I was. I did get a 10-pack from Cigars International a couple months ago, and I went through all 10, and you know, I didn't like those cigars nearly as much as I did ones I was buying before. So I don't know whether the blend's been tweaked a little bit or not. And to be completely transparent, this is not anything that was made very recently. This has actually been in my humidor for probably over a year, and it's one that was sent to me in a gift package from a member on Club Stogie quite a while back. So it may seem a little different than what's currently available. So with that said, let's go ahead and get the cigar lit. You know, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about this lighter, and this lighter is more or less a creme brulee torch with Rocky Patel's name on it. I got this from Famous Smoke Shop quite a while ago as part of their vintage 1990 sampler, which was basically buy a 5-pack of Rocky Patel vintage 1990 and get a free pocket torch. I think it was like $30 with shipping at the time. And I really wanted the lighter. Even though I didn't really care for the cigars, I ordered it so that I could get the lighter and give the cigars another try. Rocky Patel currently has another torch like this, only it's much smaller. This one's fairly large, and I don't know whether you can make it out, but it says Rocky Patel Vintage Collection on it. And really that's all there is to it, nothing fancy. If you go to like Bed Bath & Beyond, Walmart, Target, like a department store, you should be able to find these for relatively cheap. It's more or less just a creme brulee torch, which takes butane. Onto the cigar. I've got it lit. I haven't taken a draw on it yet, but it seems to be burning very well, burning evenly. The burn line itself, it's a little heavy, but you know, from torching I expect it to do that. Veins are, there's one really. The rest are very tiny. One medium-sized vein. You can feel it as I run my finger over it. Cigar feels firm, and draws very well. And right away I get that nice zing that goes through the sinus and gives you a little bit of a stinging sensation. That's one of the things I love about this cigar. It's got a very fresh, crisp sort of finish to it, and right from the start it's doing just what I wanted it to do. So with that said, I'm going to take my first little break here. I'll be back, get started on the first third, and see how the Don Pepin Garcia Black Label Cuban Classic goes. So sit tight. Well, I am back. It's been, I really don't know, 25, maybe 30 minutes now. And just before I turned the camera back on, I had my nice long ash fall all over the front of me. But aside from that, it's doing fairly well. Burn line's a little funky. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on that. Or not. Well, anyway, as you can probably make out through the fuzzy picture, burn line's a little funky. It's not totally out of whack. It's right on the cusp of my tolerance, and it looks like it's beginning to even back out. The burn line looks a little dry. It's got a little bit of blistering going on, but really nothing that has me too concerned. Sometimes the blisters tend to get a little big, and then they split and they sort of peel the wrapper back. This one looks fairly strong. I'm not seeing any tearing or popping or anything like that. So all is well as far as the burn line goes, or it's good enough, I suppose I should say. Aside from the ash falling all over me, it's compact. It's fairly strong. I wasn't getting any flaking or flowering. The ash just sort of plopped off. The body is medium to full. Finish is it's very crisp and spicy. I really like the sensation that I get out of this cigar when I retrohale the smoke. When I pull the smoke back and up and out my sinuses. It's just it's got a very crisp, clean, spicy, tingly sensation that I really like. And this cigar, it's very unique in this cigar. I don't get it out of a whole lot of others, and it's probably why I enjoy this cigar so much. The flavors are very rich. It's mostly like a straight up Corojo flavor, but the finish and everything that I get through the sinuses is what puts the cigar over the top for me. You know, I'm really enjoying this one. Aside from the Corojo flavor, I'm getting a little bit of an earthy flavor and maybe a little bit of a nutty flavor, but that's about it. The cigar is just very heavily spiced, and I'm really enjoying it. I haven't had to do any touch-ups. The cigar's been burning well. The burn rate seems about average. I don't feel like I'm smoking it fast, and the volume of smoke is fantastic. It doesn't take much effort. I'm getting a full mouthful of smoke, and it's dense, flavorful. It's all in all, it's just a very good cigar to start. So with that said, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back, and I'll take a look at the second third and see if the Don Pepin Garcia Black Label Cuban Classic continues to impress. So sit tight. Well, welcome back. I'm into the second third of my Don Pepin Garcia Cuban Classic Black Label, and I've got to say it's going very well. I'm really enjoying the cigar. I just wish that last 10-pack I got would have been this good for whatever reason. I don't know whether maybe they dried out a little bit during shipment, maybe the blend was tweaked a little bit, but they just weren't this rich, and they weren't quite this enjoyable. But the flavor, it's mostly like a heavy Corojo flavor, but it's very smooth and rich. It's got sort of a creamy texture to it. I'm getting a little bit of an earthy flavor, a little bit of nuts. And the spice that I enjoy so much through the sinuses is fantastic. It's my favorite part of the cigar, and it's why I smoked these so much in the past. Was just for that clean, refreshing, crisp sort of finish that came through the sinuses. It was just very enjoyable, and it's sort of a shame that that box ran out and I really didn't buy them anymore, and then I got a 10-pack and it just wasn't quite the same. I don't know whether my taste changed a little bit, and now they're reverting back to what they were, but you know, I'm really enjoying this cigar. I had to touch it up once. It was beginning to go out on me. I was a little too involved with Twitter, so I had to hit the cigar with a little flame. You know, it only took a second or two, and we're right back in business. I'm getting loads of smoke. Draw is deliberate. Doesn't take much effort, and I've got a mouthful. The burn rate seems about average. It's been about a half an hour since I talked to you last. And the ash is light in color. It's firm, compact. Holds on for a little over an inch, and then it just drops with just a gentle tap. So far, cigar's going very well. I'm very happy with it. So that about does it for the second third. Sit tight. I'll be back for the final third. I'll wrap up the cigar and let you be on your way. Well, welcome back. I'm down to the final third of my Don Pepin Garcia Black Label, the Cuban Classic. And the burn line is no longer wavy. Smoke rate seems good. It's been another half an hour since I talked to you last, so I'm looking at about an hour and a half total, which is pretty good for this particular cigar. For whatever reason, I tend to smoke these a little bit faster just because I like them so much. Even with my slightly elevated smoking rate, cigar stays cool. I'm not getting that warm or heat across the palate or on my fingers. It's very comfortable to smoke, even as it gets down short. The flavors seem to pick up a little bit. They get a little more complex, a little more rich, and overall it makes for a very nice cigar, especially when you account in that very nice crisp spiciness that comes through on the retrohale. Some of the more defined flavors I'm getting out of the cigar are just a very rich natural Corojo tobacco flavor. I'm still getting a little bit of a nutty flavor and an earthy base. The finish is smooth, crisp, as I said. The body is medium to full, and I'm smoking. It's 5:30 now. I haven't had dinner yet, so the cigar isn't too much for a little earlier on in the day. It's probably a little too much for me, say late morning, early afternoon. Sort of as the day wears on, this cigar is definitely one that I would pick up. As far as whether or not I would buy it again, absolutely. If the newer batches of cigars are nearly as good as this one, I'll most definitely pick them up. It's just a little tough seeing as my local cigar shop doesn't carry them, and my experience with the bundled 10-pack I got from Cigars International, it just wasn't as good as I remembered them being. So I'll have to give them another chance, maybe through someone like Atlantic. They had fantastic prices the last time I checked, and as a matter of fact, I got my last box of Don Pepin Garcia Cuban Classics, the Perla size, which is a 4x40, for a ridiculously low price. So I'll have to give Atlantic a call and see if maybe I'll put an order in and see just how they go. All in all, I really enjoyed the cigar, and I definitely recommend trying them if you've never tried them before. And if it's been a little while since you had one, give one a shot. You may find that it's just as good as it was before, before when you had it. So that about does it for the Cuban Classics. So until next week, happy smoking.